Emerson College is known for a few things. Its downtown Boston location, its emphasis on communication, Norman Lear, but to the student body, we're known as the school where every other person you meet is majoring in visual media arts. Considering many students at Emerson are also socially minded, it follows that they'd want to make their film sets as inclusive and progressive as possible. This includes the environmental impact of a film set. So, what does sustainability in the film industry look like? Environmental sustainability in the film industry can be referred to as producing films in the most resource-efficient way possible. To start, let's examine the sustainability of the typical blockbuster through two popular movies: The Dark Knight, made in 2007, and Titanic, made in 1997, which both used a ridiculous amount of fossil fuels in their productions. On a typical film set like one of these, with $70 million budgets or higher, 3,370 metric tons of carbon are emitted. On The Dark Knight specifically, there was an instance where the film director Christopher Nolan requested that every building in Hong Kong be lit up for a shot he wanted in the movie. Environmental groups, such as Green Sense, have voiced their concerns with this, stating that Nolan's request to use an extremely excessive amount of wasted energy, quote, puts the concerns of the filmmakers ahead of the concerns of the planet, end quote. The production team of the film also spent $500,000 on gasoline and a full $1 million worth of building materials for props and sets. Wasted energy and materials aren't the only ways a film production can harm the environment. During the filming of Titanic, the set dumped their wastewater onto the shore of a Mexican village. This polluted the nearby ocean with chlorine, which killed the local sea urchin population and reduced fish levels by a third. The fishing community there took a heavy hit from these drastic effects. There are too many other instances of film sets acting in similarly reckless manners, from Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, made in 2017, to Mad Max Fury Road, made in 2015. Even films that are in production right now have these issues. While many film sets are trying to improve, there are still issues. Green sets try to use a hybrid grid, a combination of renewable energy sources and fossil fuels. However, due to their convenience and flexibility, diesel engines still remain popular despite their emissions. Battery-based solutions exist, but there is reluctance to accept them due to the extra planning involved. On film sets themselves, besides running the production, there are carbon emission costs associated with providing for the people working on set. Transportation, food, and more all contribute to carbon emissions on sets. In fact, air travel and utilities account for 24% and 22% of all feature films' carbon footprints. Nearly 1/3 of the top 200 grossing movies filmed from 2000 to 2019 in 2 or more countries. This need for entire movie casts and crews to travel to faraway locations in order to film widely contributes to the large carbon emissions associated with transportation. The carbon emissions don't end on set, though. Post-production can also have grave carbon costs. Movies with lots of special effects, like ones from Marvel or the sci-fi genre specifically, will consume huge amounts of power in order to create these visuals. A 2009 study showed that 11% of the CO2 emissions on film sets were from post-production. Marvel movies have been notorious for having editors work insane hours to complete the work, which is another type of unsustainable practice used in the film industry. One former Marvel VFX artist told Vulture in 2022, quote, "When I worked on one movie, it was almost 6 months of overtime every day. I was working 7 days a week, averaging 64 hours a week on a good week," end quote. The exploitation of employees is an example of unsustainability because there's no way the average person would be able to do a 64-hour work week without having some sort of burnout. So, how does the film industry mitigate this problem? Organizations like Sustainable Production Alliance and Environmental Media Association work to guide filmmakers in their pursuit of greener sets. The EMA, or the Environmental Media Association, also gives out green seals to productions meeting certain standards on their sets. Reducing the carbon footprint of film productions is the most effective way to help the environment. The best way to do this is to reduce travel or use more efficient ways of transportation. Electric and hybrid vehicles are becoming more and more accessible nowadays, and companies using these new technologies are reducing their fossil fuels and emissions by a large amount. Other ways to help the film industry's sustainability issue is to reduce the amount of waste and energy usage on sets. This includes limiting the amount of paper and plastic materials used, as well as using more energy-efficient technologies, like LED lights. Environmentally friendly choices will also contribute to overall savings. One popular example of a blockbuster set successfully running a green production is The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which came out in 2014. It was Sony's most eco-friendly production. In addition to being carbon neutral, the production reused set pieces, used sustainable set materials such as water-based smoke as opposed to oil-based, recycled textiles from wardrobe, used biodegradable detergent, and composted or donated uneaten food, among many other things. They also incentivize the cast and crew for making green choices. These environmental efforts on and off set save the production about $400,000 in addition to the fossil fuel and waste savings. Hollywood should not only be working towards more sustainable productions, but should also be mindful of how its films may be used to promote unsustainable products and practices. For example, 2018's Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom employed hybrid vehicles and used 75% LED lighting. While this is a step forward to making film sets more sustainable, Jurassic World still partnered with products such as Amazon and Jeep Wrangler, which are not sustainable. This is an example of greenwashing. Production companies may tout their sustainable film sets for financial reasons, rather than having any altruistic intentions in mind. In order to make real strides in the pursuit of green film sets, more research and effort must be put into this cause. In 2006, there was a UCLA study into sustainability on sets, but it took almost 15 years until another one was done by BFI in 2020. This lack of research and knowledge of sustainability in the film industry has caused people to be unaware of the dire consequences of these environmentally negative choices. Becoming knowledgeable about these issues is the first step toward a greater goal of having green productions. Many future filmmakers are sitting in this classroom right now. If we can all make promises to keep our sets as green as we can make a real change in the industry, and the Earth will thank us.